This is going to be a tour of my garden. Most of the plants are still small, so I included pictures of what they'll look like full grown. And the plants are arranged to bloom at different times, spring, summer, and fall. So here we are on the porch, and the sun is coming up, and it rained, so everything is wet. The plastic is where my perfect grass will be, and the swing is being held in place by those chairs because it bangs against the house. I found a solution to that. Anyhow, here's the formal garden, and you can see it faces east. Just beyond the formal garden will be two pergolas, one on each side, and they'll have clematis vines growing up the sides of them. In one pergola will be a fountain, and in the other one will be a fire pit like this one. And you'll enter the pergolas through an arbor, which will also have flowers growing on it. So that's what you'll see in the background. Next, we're going to look at some of the plants outside of the formal garden. There's a flowering almond, which is absolutely beautiful. It gets about 5 feet. And I have 6 lilac bushes. These are just 2 of the varieties. And there are 2 different elderberries, which are next to the bird enclosure for the birds to hide in. They're beautiful. They also get really big. So there's the almonds you see in the background. They're going to hide the septic covers. There's the lilacs. And there will be more, but we're starting out with 6. That is where the bird enclosure will be, enclosed to protect the birds from cats. And there are the elderberries. In the background, you see the catalpa tree. Catalpa trees have these interesting beans in the fall, and they have white flowers in the spring and big heart-shaped leaves. There's a variegated maple that Nikki bought me. And there's 2 varieties of grass. There will be more, but I started with a variegated and a regular Mycanthus. There's also a little crabapple tree with purple leaves. There's the variegated maple, and there are the grasses. And in the background, you will see to the left, there's the crabapple. Next, we're going to look at the formal garden. So our first stop will be with a yew, which is a beautiful soft conifer, and coneflowers in different shades of yellow. Veronica, which is a short plant with spiky purple flowers. Heavy meadow, which is about 5 feet tall and stands very straight up. Geranium, which is a ground cover that sort of fills in the space. Peony bushes, which bloom in the spring, and they'll be on the outside edge. To the left, we'll see a variety of lilies, and they're planted with salvia and multiple different kinds of iris. In the center, we'll see laetris surrounding a Christmas tree that has silver mound, these nice balls of fir planted in front. So here we go. There's the yew. You like my rain gauge there, that little plastic container? And there is the coneflower, the heavy meadow grass, and the salvia. The lilies are to the left. Can't even see the irises because they bloom in the spring. And there's the veronica in the corner there. You move to the center and you'll see the Leatrice, the Christmas tree, and you can't see the silver moon because it hadn't been planted yet when I took this video. Next, we're going to the middle of the formal garden, and there are some dwarf spruce trees that'll be cut like topiary, rudbeckia, which blooms all summer. It's nice and tall. Monarda, which blooms all summer and is short. There's a couple different kinds of sedum surrounding the pine trees. And on the edge of the garden are the first barberry and epitorium, which is tall and butterflies love it. And in front of that, there are a couple of different kinds of these ground cover daisies. So here we go to the center of the garden. And there you see the pine tree and the rudbeckia. The sedum hadn't been planted yet when I took this. And over to the left, we're going to see the epitorium and the barberry. The daisies hadn't been planted yet when I took this video. Next, we're going to look at the front of the formal garden, and we'll see some solidago, which is that yellow topped plant there. A nice ball of soft needles of cypress. There's the solidago. And there are astilbe, which bloom in the spring. Nice little feathery, multicolored flowers. Lalium is a ground cover that's filling in the space next to the astilbe, and there's the second barberry. So again, there's this solidago, the cypress is behind it, the astilbe is on the right, the barberry is in the background, there's another sedum, and now we're going into the final area of the formal garden. There are coral bells along the outside edge, catmint in the corner, heliopsis, which has these beautiful orange flowers, monarda, echinops, which has great leaves and these wonderful blue balls, lynchus, which has wonderful silver foliage and pink flowers, and there's the heliopsis, and the monarda is in front of it, the echinops is next to it, the lynchus is next to that, the catmint is in the corner. There's the coral bells, and there you can see one of the sprinklers for my irrigation system. If you look carefully, you can see the little boxwood bushes. On the other side of the squares are asters. Goat's beard is in the middle. Baptisia is opposite the monarda. Penstemon is where the solidago currently is. Iberis is opposite the catmint. And these boxwood bushes will form a square around the center with these statues facing the house. These are the actual ones that I have. Sitting on pedestals, they'll be about 5 feet tall. Surrounding the squares are crocus on the inside, daffodils on towards the house and on the outside, and tulips on the far side of the squares. So there's another sedum. There's the astilbe again. There's the barberry in the corner. Here we have the asters. See the purple? Goat's beard behind it, Baptisia on the left, and the solidago where the penstemon should be. You can see the echinops over to the right. And you'll see the purple penstemon there. There's the iberis. There you can see the little boxwood bushes again. The next part of the garden is where the grass will be. And there's shrubs planted that include an arborvitae, aspiria, a tiny wine ninebark, a beautiful variegated wigelia, and white and pink flowered hydrangea. So there's where the grass goes, moving those barberries out of that area. The arborvitae is in the background there. Then on the other side, you'll see these bushes. I'm going to actually make copies of them. I'm going to make 5 more, so they'll be on the other side of the stairs and all along the wall where the greenhouse is. There you see the iris and the peonies that I need to move this fall. The other arborvitae there is on the left. Spirea is the gold-leaved plant. Next to it is the ninebark, and next to that the wigelia, and next to that the hydrangea. Now we're going to look at the vegetable and the fruit garden. That long trench is the irrigation system for the fruit and vegetables. There's a Korean maple, which I ran over with the lawnmower. I bought another one. This is my vegetable garden plan. You can see it's pretty detailed. That's kind of how I do things. Planning ahead, that's my thing. Okay, so we're going to see the Korean maple there. It's small. There it is. Actually, when they're big, they're quite beautiful. And then the vegetable garden. There's the irrigation for the vegetable garden right there. And there it is. I just started it this year. I won't be planting in it until 2024. Those bags are full of sulfur, which I'm going to till into that soil. You can see it's big. Next, we're going to the fruit garden. So here you can see the irrigation system for the fruit garden, and there you see the irrigation tubing inside of the garden. And I'm only showing pictures of things that you might not be familiar with. Lingonberries are like cranberries used for Christmas. Goji berries are supposed to be good for you. You use them like raisins. Honeyberries are like blueberries, only shaped like grapes. Gooseberries are used to make jam. Currants are used like raisins. Service berries are used to make wine or jam. And these hardy kiwi berries are like the larger ones, only you actually eat the whole thing like a grape. So there's the lingonberries. And there is Sandy, the Honeycrisp apple. and uva, the ambrosia apple. And there are the blueberry bushes. Behind that are the goji berries, and next to them are the blackberries. And boy, did I have blackberries this year. There's the honeyberries, and there are two apricot trees. Now we're going down to look at the currants and the gooseberries and the serviceberries. When we turn around, we're going to see where the grapes will be in the background there. And that is a cherry tree. There's the raspberries, and here are the kiwi bushes. They're actually vines. Those poles are for a trellis like you see on the raspberries. Kiwi berries actually come in male and female plants, so you have to have a male plant for the females to produce fruit. There's three kinds of raspberries: yellow, red, and black. And there's the strawberries. I'm actually making more bushes. You can see there's little tiny offshoots, and those will be new plants to fill in the space. That is my electric gate, and that is the hay that came from my field. In the back there you see my dump trailer and my shed and a big pile of wood there. There's my truck. There's the greenhouse. And there's my plow truck. And then in the background you can see my boat. This is my shed, which is absolutely crammed full of stuff for the tractor and from the cabin. There's my tractor. Now we're going to Dog's Forest, where we'll see a Jane magnolia. There's actually two of them, a linden tree. The other magnolia is on the other side of the yard. A sugarberry, which has this really cool bark. A ginkgo, which I'm sure you're familiar with. They get very large and they have cool leaves. Basswood has beautiful multicolored leaves. Kentucky coffee tree, which actually has these pods that look like coffee beans, and it flowers. A sassafras, which has cool leaves and turns a brilliant color in the fall. Dogwood blooms in the spring. And a river birch, which has great peeling bark. And then the last tree is a honey locust, which is these wonderful dainty leaves, and a button bush, which has these great flowers. So there's the magnolia. I just planted it this year. That's why it's in a cage, to protect it from the dog. And there's the linden tree. Now we're walking towards the sugarberry. There should actually be a tree between the sugarberry and the ginkgo, which is where we're going next, but I can't get anything to take there. I'm going to try again next spring. There's the ginkgo. And now we're coming up on the basswood. It has some fungus, that's why the leaves are brown. And next year I'm going to spray for fungus so that doesn't happen. Next we're going to the coffee tree, which is also still small, so it's in a cage. Sassafras is planted on the edge of the slope garden, which you see here. There's the sassafras. And next we'll see the dogwood, which is in a cage. So there's the dogwood, and behind it in the background there, you see that little tree poking up in the grass. That's the river birch. The summer house and a pond with a creek running down to it will go on the other side of the slope. In the slope garden are daylilies, all different kinds, hostas, a miniature lilac, a mock orange bush, which is just beautiful in the spring, a huge purple ninebark with bees buzzing all around it, a wonderful big snakeroot bush, a snowberry, which has these great little white berries, and a snowball viburnum, which explodes in little balls of flowers in the spring, and a wonderful willow bush. And then the last bush is a summer sweet. And there's Russian sage and monarda and some asters planted in there too. So over there, that's where the pond and the summer house go. The garden on that side will look like the garden that's on this side. I'm waiting until after those things are built to plant that garden. So there you see the lilies and the bushes. That big, huge purple one in the background is the ninebark. Now we're walking up to the honey locust tree. It has wonderful, delicate leaves. And that rain runoff trench that I built has the button bush at the bottom of it, right there. Now we're walking up towards the house, and you can see my screened-in porch. Up in the corner there, above the grill, is where the bird's nest is. The birds are gone now, but couldn't use my grill all summer. Now we're going up to the garage, which looks like a mess, but I actually know where everything is. It's full of stuff from the cabin. And on the other side there, that's all my woodworking equipment and my tools. And then the last thing we'll see is one of my outdoor cats. His name is Puss. So that's the end. I hope you enjoyed it.